My name is Sarah Irving, and what happened last month taught me something powerful. Sometimes the best response to family manipulation isn't anger. It's a perfectly executed legal move. You know that feeling when your parents call you selfish for wanting to keep what's rightfully yours? When they expect you to sacrifice everything for the golden child who already has it all. That's exactly what happened to me when my parents found out I'd inherited my grandmother's $750,000 home. They didn't just ask me to share. They brought a realtor right to my door, demanding I sell the house and split the money. When I refused, they threatened to disown me. But what they didn't know was that I'd already sold it 3 days earlier, to someone they'd never expect. And when they saw who was standing inside that house, my mother actually screamed. Before I tell you how my sister's own CEO became my secret weapon, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if stories about standing up to family pressure resonate with you. I'd also love to know where you're watching from, and what time it is there. Are you a night owl like me? Or tuning in with your morning coffee? Now let me take you back to where it all started. Growing up as the older daughter should have meant something, right? Maybe in most families. But in the Irving household, birth order meant nothing compared to who could charm their way into our parents' hearts. And that person was always my younger sister, Melissa. While I was catching the 7 a.m. bus to public school, my parents were driving Melissa to Preston Academy, a private school that cost more than most people's annual salary. Sarah's independent, Mom would say. She doesn't need what Melissa needs. Translation: Sarah doesn't deserve what Melissa deserves. I still remember sitting at the kitchen table, showing Dad my straight-A report card. He glanced at it for maybe 2 seconds before saying, "Did you see Melissa's art project? She got selected for the district showcase." My achievements were expected. Melissa's were miracles. Ballet lessons, violin tutors, summer programs in Europe. Melissa got them all. When I asked to join the debate team, which required a $200 fee, Dad said, "We need to prioritize spending." That same week, they bought Melissa a $3,000 MacBook for her creative pursuits. But there was one person who saw right through all of it, Grandma Eleanor. While my parents fussed over Melissa's recitals, Grandma would quietly slip into my room. "How's my brilliant girl?" she'd ask, genuinely interested in my robotics projects and my part-time job at the library. "Why do they love her more, Grandma?" I asked one night when I was 16, after my parents skipped my National Honor Society induction to attend Melissa's dance recital instead. She pulled me close, the soft scent of lavender wrapping around me like armor. "They don't love her more, sweetheart," she said. "They love themselves more. Melissa reflects who they wish they were. You, my dear Sarah, reflect who they really are, hardworking, practical, unadorned, and that terrifies them." Those words shaped my entire life. While Melissa floated through college on our parents' dime, I worked 3 jobs to pay my own way through state school. While she found herself through 6 major changes, I graduated with honors in accounting. Boring? Maybe. Practical? Absolutely. The day I earned my CPA license, Grandma was the only one who showed up to celebrate. My parents were in Cabo, celebrating Melissa's engagement to a man she'd known for 3 months. An engagement that ended 4 months later, naturally. You'd think after years of being overlooked, I'd be used to it. But some moments cut deeper than others, reminders of exactly where I stood in the family hierarchy. My 25th birthday fell on a Saturday. I'd mentioned it casually, hoping for maybe a dinner together. That morning I woke up to silence. No calls. No texts. Nothing. Around noon I saw Mom's Facebook post. "Shopping day with my baby girl. So blessed." A photo of her and Melissa at Nordstrom, bags in hand, champagne glasses raised. It wasn't even Melissa's birthday month. When I graduated summa cum laude, my parents sent a one-word text. "Congrats." When Melissa finally graduated, 2 years late and barely scraping by, they threw a party for 50 people and hired a photographer. The invitation read, "A celebration of our shining star's journey." But Grandma Eleanor never forgot me. Every milestone, every little victory, she celebrated them all. She'd show up at my apartment with homemade lasagna when I passed my CPA exam. She framed my first business card. She even kept a folder of my college essays, telling her book club about her brilliant granddaughter, the accountant. "You're building something real, Sarah," she told me one Sunday. Your parents might not see it, but I do. And someday when I'm gone, you'll have more than just my love to remember me by. I thought she meant her photos or maybe her jewelry. I never imagined she meant the house. The house on Maple Street, the place where I spent every summer, every holiday, every moment that truly mattered. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a garden that bloomed all year. It was where I learned to bake, to garden, and to believe I was worth something. When Grandma passed last year, I thought I'd lost the only person who ever truly saw me. Then Attorney Mills called about the will reading, and everything changed. Even as I sat in that office hearing my name read as the sole beneficiary of the house, I knew this wasn't over. Because in my family, what's mine has always been subject to committee approval, and the committee always ruled in Melissa's favor. The question was, would I let them do it again? Yes, Mom said sharply. That's the only word we need from you, Sarah. Yes, you'll sell. Yes, you'll share the money with your sister. Yes, you'll stop being so difficult. Melissa dabbed her eyes delicately. I've already told Brad we might start house shopping soon, she sniffed. Brad, this month's soulmate. I wondered if he knew about Kevin from last month, or if that chapter had been quietly deleted, like all of Melissa's other inconvenient truths. Your sister has worked so hard for her promotion, Aunt Helen chimed in. She deserves a home that reflects her new status. Unlike you, Dad added coldly. An accountant living in a studio apartment. What do you even need with a 3-bedroom house? She probably just wants to rent it out, Melissa said bitterly. Make money off Grandma's death. It's disgusting. The irony of Melissa calling anyone else money hungry, while demanding my inheritance, nearly made me laugh. Almost. Mrs. Patterson, the realtor, slid a stack of papers toward me. The offer is generous, she said. Above market value. You'd each walk away with enough for a down payment. Each. I repeated. The house is mine. Don't be technical, Mom snapped. Family shares. Like you shared college tuition? I asked quietly. Like you shared birthday celebrations? Like you shared attendance at graduations? Dad rolled his eyes. Here we go again. Poor Sarah and her grudges. You got Grandma's attention, Melissa accused. Every Sunday, every holiday, you monopolized her. The least you can do is share what she left behind. Attorney Mills shifted uncomfortably. The will is very clear. Wills can be contested, Dad interrupted. I've already spoken to lawyers. Undue influence is real. An old woman, isolated by one granddaughter, fed stories about how unfair we were. That's a lie, I said softly. Is it? Mom snapped. You were always over there, always turning her against us, filling her head with nonsense. My phone buzzed. Marcus en route. ETA 15 minutes. I looked around that conference room, at the people who shared my DNA but never once shared my struggles. The people who demanded everything while offering nothing. The ones who saw my inheritance not as Grandma's final gift, but as their entitlement. You want the house? I asked. Fine. Let's go see it. The room erupted in murmurs. Dad narrowed his eyes. What are you playing at? No games, I said, checking my phone. If you're so desperate to take it, you should at least see what you're fighting for. It's not taking if it's family, Mom corrected, already grabbing her purse. Attorney Mills stood. Just so everyone's clear, any decisions about the property should. We're done waiting, Dad cut her off. The drive to Maple Street felt like a funeral procession. I drove alone while my parents, Melissa, and the realtor rode together, probably strategizing their final attack. Attorney Mills followed behind in her Lexus, looking more uneasy by the mile. My phone rang through the car speakers. You sure about this? Marcus asked. They want to see the house, I said. They're about to get their wish. The papers are filed, he reminded me. Recorded with the county yesterday. It's done, Sarah. I know. I glanced in the mirror at my family's car trailing behind. How's the Tesla running? Parked in the driveway as we speak. See you in 10. Melissa had been texting nonstop. Just do the right thing. Don't embarrass yourself. Mom's blood pressure is up because of you. That last one almost made me laugh. Her blood pressure was probably up from the excitement of stealing one more thing from me to hand to Melissa. As we turned onto Maple Street, I saw it Grandma's house. The white Victorian with its wraparound porch and the blooming garden I'd planted with her years ago. The porch where she told me that family isn't about blood. It's about choice. And there, gleaming in the driveway like poetic justice on 4 wheels, was a white Tesla Model S. Melissa's gasp was audible even through my windshield. That's. I parked at the curb and got out. My family followed, confusion spreading like wildfire. Whose car is that? Mom demanded. Melissa's voice cracked. That's my CEO's car. Marcus Chen's car. Your CEO? Dad turned to her, frowning. What would he be doing here? I walked toward the porch, keys in hand, though I knew they no longer worked. Why don't we find out? Before I could knock, the front door opened. Marcus stood there. Casual but impossibly polished, the kind of man whose presence filled the space effortlessly. Actually, I said, pausing at the porch steps, there's something you should know about the house. We know enough, Dad interrupted, pushing past me. It's a family asset being hoarded by. He froze mid-sentence. Marcus Chun stood in the doorway, hands in his pockets, calm and confident. Mr. Chun. Melissa stammered. What are you? Why are you? Ms. Irving, Marcus said with a professional nod to her, then turned to me with a smile. Sarah, perfect timing. Someone explain what's happening, Mom demanded, her voice losing its earlier authority. Mrs. Patterson, the realtor, rushed forward, extending her hand. Mr. Chun. I'm Rebecca Patterson. I understand you're interested in. I'm not interested, Marcus interrupted smoothly. I'm the owner. Silence. Pure golden silence. Dad spoke first. That's impossible. This house belongs to Sarah. Belonged. Attorney Mills corrected gently. Past tense. 3 days ago, I added. The sale was finalized 3 days ago. Melissa's face flickered through disbelief, horror and fury. You sold it? You sold it to my boss. Technically, Marcus said. To my investment company. All perfectly legal. Attorney Mills nodded. I reviewed the documents myself. Clean sale. Fair market value. Actually above market. You can't do this. Mom shrieked. We're your family. Actually, Marcus replied, his tone sharp as glass. She had every right. It was her property. Her decision. But we had buyers. Mrs. Patterson protested. Cash offers. Bit late for that, Marcus said evenly. Dad's face had gone crimson. This is fraud. Manipulation. You took advantage of her. Marcus actually laughed. Mr. Irving, I paid $800,000 for this property, $20,000 above asking. If anyone got taken advantage of, it was me. But I wanted this house in this location. Why? Melissa whispered, her voice trembling. Marcus smiled. We're opening a satellite office for the marketing team. Your team, actually. Melissa swayed. A satellite office? The company wants to expand our presence in residential areas. Marcus continued, calm and collected. Better work-life balance for our staff. This house is perfect. You manipulated my daughter. Dad barked. We'll sue. Which daughter? Marcus asked mildly. Because Sarah approached me with a clean offer, and I accepted. Everything's documented. You knew each other before. Mom snapped. This was planned. We were study partners in college, I said. Is it illegal to sell property to someone you know? When it's done to spite your family, yes. Dad shouted. Attorney Mills cleared her throat. Actually, no. That's not illegal at all. By now 30 neighbors had gathered on the sidewalk, watching like it was a live drama. Phones out, cameras rolling. Sarah, please. Melissa sobbed. This is my career, my future. Your career is safe, Marcus said gently. As long as you maintain professional standards. The warning was subtle, but Melissa heard it. Her tears stopped instantly. Mom started toward me, furious. But Attorney Mills stepped in. I'd be very careful, Mrs. Irving. Assault charges won't help your case. Dad puffed up. We'll contest the sale. On any grounds we can find. On what grounds? Mills asked calmly. That Sarah sold her own house to a willing buyer? She did it to hurt Melissa. Mom cried. I did it to protect my future, I said quietly. The same way you've always protected hers. Mrs. Patterson backed away. I should go. This is clearly a family matter. Not anymore, Marcus said. This is a business matter now. Another truth came to light. I'd been quietly consulting for Marcus's company for months, building credibility, earning respect, proving that my value had nothing to do with family ties. You've been planning this, my father said, realization dawning. This entire thing. You wanted to humiliate us. No, I replied calmly. I've just been planning how to survive you. Marcus stepped forward, his presence commanding. The street went silent. Even the movers froze, sensing the tension in the air. Mr. and Mrs. Irving, Marcus began, his CO voice echoing across the yard. Let me make this perfectly clear. 3 days ago, Sarah Irving sold me this property for $800,000. The sale is finalized, recorded with the county, and irreversible. You took advantage of her, my dad snapped. I took advantage of a fair market opportunity, Marcus interrupted coolly. Sarah needed a buyer who respected her connection to this home. I needed a location for our satellite office. We both benefited. And Melissa? My mom's voice wavered. What about our daughter? Which one? Marcus asked sharply. Because from where I'm standing, you've only ever cared about one. Melissa stepped forward, mascara streaked across her cheeks. Mr. Chun, please, this is my family, my sister. Can't we figure something out? We already have, Marcus said. You'll report here Monday for your team meetings. Sarah will be residing upstairs, as per the lease agreement. Maintain professional boundaries. Any harassment of our tenant will result in immediate termination. Harassment? Melissa gasped. She's my sister. The same sister you tried to push out of her inheritance? Jennifer Wu interjected, clearly briefed on the situation. That ends now. The neighbors were riveted, Mr. Peterson even had popcorn. This is extortion. Dad sputtered. Actually, said Attorney Mills, stepping forward at last, it's called consequences. Something your family seems to have trouble recognizing. Janet, Mom exclaimed. You're supposed to be neutral. I am, Mills replied evenly. I'm also truthful. Your mother, Mrs. Eleanor Irving, specifically excluded you from any decisions regarding this property. Her exact words were, Linda and Robert will try to take this from Sarah. Don't let them. The silence that followed was suffocating. Grandma said that? I asked softly. Mills nodded. She knew what she was doing. She also knew Sarah would need protection from family pressure. That's why her will contain no sharing clauses, no override provisions, just Sarah. She turned our mother against us. Mom hissed. No, Mrs. Kim from next door called out. Eleanor saw you for who you really were. We all did. The way you flaunted Melissa while Sarah trailed behind. The birthday parties for one daughter while the other was forgotten. That's private family business. Dad roared. Not when you're yelling it on my lawn, Marcus said evenly. And unless Sarah invites you in, you're trespassing. Everyone's eyes shifted to me, my family, the neighbors, Marcus, his team, all waiting for my choice. The sale is legal, Mills continued, pulling out a folder. Here's the deed transfer filed 3 days ago with Santa Clara County. The title is clean, the contract notarized, and every document verified. She spread them across her Lexus hood like court evidence. Sarah had full rights to sell, she said firmly. No liens, no encumbrances, no other claims. And as for contesting the will, your threats are meaningless. Eleanor's mental capacity was certified by 2 physicians before she signed. She was of sound mind. You knew about this? Dad demanded. I knew Sarah was considering selling, Mills replied. It's not my role to inform you of her legal choices. But family, Mom began weakly, has no legal authority here, Mills finished. Sarah owes you nothing regarding this property. She never did. Marcus pulled out his phone. The wire transfer, $800,000, cleared 3 days ago. Would you like to see proof? This is disgusting, Mom spat. Using money to destroy a family. The only thing destroyed, Marcus said, is your illusion of control. I watched Melissa absorb it all. Her boss now owned her office, And that office was inside the home she tried to steal from me. Every day she'd see me living the life she wanted, and she'd know that I could have made her homeless but didn't. There's more, I said quietly. My lease includes a clause. I have the right of first refusal if Marcus ever sells. At the same price he paid. Dad's head snapped up. Meaning? It means, Mills explained, Sarah can buy this property back for exactly what Marcus paid, whenever he decides to sell. She's not just a tenant. She's a future owner. Mom faltered. That's planning. Long-term planning, I said. Something you never taught me. But Grandma did. She used to say the best revenge isn't emotional. It's contractual. Marcus smiled. Your grandmother sounds like a wise woman. She was, I said, locking eyes with my parents. She saw what you never did, that my silence wasn't weakness. I was watching, learning, waiting. For what? Melissa asked bitterly. For the moment you tried to take what was truly mine, I said. And now here we are. So let me get this straight, Melissa said, trying to catch up. I have to work in this house, in Grandma's old reading room while you live upstairs? Correct, Marcus confirmed. And if I refuse? That's your decision, he replied. But refusal would be considered insubordination. This isn't reasonable, she snapped. This is business, Marcus said flatly. Jennifer Wu added. This location was selected for strategic reasons. Client proximity, residential appeal. Your personal history here is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Mom shouted. My daughter has to work in a house she should have inherited. Should have. I asked. Based on what? Being prettier? More favored. Because I was the one who needed it, not wanted it. There's a difference. Dad glared. She needs it more. No, I said firmly. She wants it more. I needed security. She wanted a trophy. I needed freedom from your control. She wanted another gift. Mom lunged forward, but Marcus stepped in front of me. Mrs. Irving, you're trespassing. Leave now or I'll call the police. You wouldn't dare, Dad challenged. Marcus raised his phone. Santa Clara Police? Yes, I need assistance with trespassers at 427 Maple Street. Mom's face went pale. We're leaving, she hissed, dragging Dad toward the car. But this isn't over. It is, I said. The sale is final. Melissa starts her new office Monday. And I start living my life on my terms. Melissa laughed coldly. Your life? You're just a tenant. With a 10-year lease below market rent and buyback rights, I reminded her. Which is still more than you'll ever have. As a police car turned the corner, lights glinting, my parents backed away. You chose strangers over family, Mom said bitterly. No, I replied. I chose myself over people who never chose me. Melissa's voice trembled with fury. When Mr. Chun gets bored of you and you're alone, remember, you did this. I will, I said softly. Every morning in my grandmother's home. Every evening in her garden. Every time I don't have to beg for love I should have already had. They left then, Mom sobbing, Dad seething, Melissa silent.